We acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land.
As one of the oldest living cultures on Earth, we celebrate their age-old connections to country, along with the knowledge, determination, patience and generosity of all First Nations people, past and present.
This is Aboriginal land.
Hi, I'm Lucille McCart.
And I'm Chantelle Otten. We're from Bumble, and this is Give Me a Buzz.
From first dates to heartbreak, we can all relate to the ups and downs of modern dating and relationships.
And we're here to give you the inspiration, education, and motivation to navigate any dating fairy tale or dilemma that may come your way.
Okay.
Well.
Here we go.
What an episode we have today.
We are joined today by incredible Kiwi content creator, TV star, and biological bad bitch, Kris Fox.
Oh my God. I can't even do it properly anymore, but like whatever.
Kris Fox in the building.
Hi, girl. Thank you so much for having me.
Woman of the moment.
Are you bitches ready?
We're not.
Absolutely not.
We're definitely not ready.
Kris, we do ask every guest two standard questions. The first one is, what is your opening move?
Is this like hitting on a guy?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you want the fake version or the real version?
Real.
The fake version is like, oh my God, I think you're really cute. But the real me would literally straight up be like, how big's your cock? I mean, it's the tea. I'm like, what are we working with here? 7, 8, 9, or 10? Because anything in my mind below 7 is not worth it. Sorry.
I'm obsessed. Okay. What is the worst dating advice you've ever received?
To be honest, like, I've never received any dating advice.
Okay.
Just because, like, you know.
Unpack that for us.
Do you, is it because
like,
you're rejected or because
No,
it's just
it's 'cause
never
no
been
one,
given?
no one's brave enough to give you
No,
advice.
I feel like, because I just kind of don't take advice anyway. But
Yeah.
like in terms of like relationship dating advice, no way. Like I feel like I don't have that experience at all. I usually just go guns blazing and just do whatever I feel. Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like, sorry to cut you off,
No.
but I also feel like as a trans woman, it's so hard to navigate that.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Because any advice that someone else gives me, I'm like, you don't live this experience. So I don't know if your advice is valid.
Yeah. While we're sort of on this, why don't you give our listeners a bit of a
Give us 411.
one-on-one 411 on
411.
Kris Fox.
411, 69, jogging and on your knees.
Yeah.
Kris Fox, who is she? Who is she?
Describe her.
She is
so
fierce.
curious.
She is flossy. She is that bitch. As you said, biological bad bitch.
The only way.
I feel like, so obviously Kris Fox is like, to me, is like an alter ego to a certain degree. It's me, but when I'm online, it's like me times 100. And so when I first started getting into content creation, which was back in like 2015, I used Kris Fox as like an escape or like a platform for me to just kind of be free in who I am and just not give a shit about what other people think about me. That started in 2015. I started doing Facebook videos in 2015. We didn't have no TikTok, girl. I was a Facebook famous girly. And then
Wow.
and then it went to YouTube and Instagram and stuff.
Love to see some of those videos.
Yeah, my videos.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all taken down.
Damn.
I privated them
I reckon you
because
still
it's
got
giving
them, though.
transphobia.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's just I don't like to be reminded of how ugly I used to look.
Dope. Okay. We're not going to unpack that today, but we're going to discuss that tonight.
Yeah, fair.
That was pre-transition.
Yeah, so my transition journey is so crazy. So I don't even know how to describe this. So when I was younger, I always felt different. I just didn't know how to explain it. There was no terminology. There was no education in and around just transness back in my day, even though I'm 21. I'm Gen Z, guys.
And you grew up in New Zealand.
Yeah, so I was born in Fiji, and then we moved to New Zealand when I was 2.
Okay.
Then I had heart surgery at the age of 7, which is the reason why we moved to New Zealand, because the islands don't have the medical
The
technology
healthcare,
to
yeah.
like do that. So my parents migrated to New Zealand, and then when you become a citizen, you fall into like the healthcare system.
Yeah.
And then because I became a citizen, it was like heavy surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that took like 3 or 4 years. So by the time I was 7, then I was able to have that surgery.
Wow.
I was born with a hole in my heart.
Yeah.
Someone shot me.
So
I'm shot in the womb.
deep dark hole.
And then
Cupid's arrow got you.
literally, I know. I was like, where the fuck is Cupid? Whose arrow were you pointing at? But yeah, so then I had my heart surgery at 7, and then I was just raised in Auckland for the next how many years?
And so tell us about not when you sort of decided to transition, but like go back even earlier than that. Like
That feeling.
when did you realize that you were different? And when did you learn the terminology that matched how you felt?
So the first instance was in primary school. I was like, I'd say 7 or 8 years old. I just felt different. And it wasn't even like I was like, I thought the boys are cute because obviously you're a fucking child. So
yeah.
I wasn't really like, oh my God. It was more so I wanted to hang with the girls. I was into Barbie dolls. I only ever wanted to wear girls' clothes. And I used to throw tantrums all the time. And my parents were like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, I don't want to wear this. And I played sport too. So I played soccer because my dad is a professional soccer player back in the day. So obviously he wants his child to like follow in his footsteps. And I was like, oh, well, I'll follow it for as long as I can, but I'm not going to. Don't be expecting no David Beckham out of me. I flipped the switch.
Bend it like Beckham.
Yeah. I flipped the switch and here I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I do love Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Though. I do love Keira Knightley.
She's got the little headband on. Little headband on, running around.
It was, oh my God, Bend It Like Beckham. Is that the one with
Kiara?
With Kiara?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that was so funny, man.
Such a great movie.
I want to watch
I
that.
watched it recently on the plane. It is still very good.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, you weren't Bend It Like Beckham.
It was like around 7 or 8, but there was no information or there was no way I could kind of describe how I was feeling.
Yeah.
All I said is, I'm a girl. And my parents were obviously like, no, you're not. And I was like, bitch, I'm a fucking girl.
How can you describe that feeling? Because I think like I'm at the age where my friends are starting to have kids and some of the boys just want to play with the girls' stuff sometimes. And that's completely normal. But what did you feel that was like different from that sort of natural childhood exploring, being interested in one thing and not the other?
What was different for me was more so just like a longing and a feeling deep inside. Like it was consistent. And I knew it wasn't like I love dolls, I love girl clothes, like da-da-da. It's like internally I felt that something was wrong. It's so hard to describe it. It's way bigger than I like the color fucking pink and I like dresses. It was like a feeling on the inside that was so annoying because nobody would listen to me or like understand where I was coming from. Then again, oh my God, I'm jumping ship here. But in high school, so I went to a co-ed school and I was bullied, I was picked on, yada, yada, yada. And there was not even one gay person in high school.
Wow.
So I was like,
you make it sound so easy. I told my parents I'm a girl. I don't imagine it was like that.
No.
I don't imagine it was easy at all.
It was a really rocky road
Yeah.
for my parents, but I came out on the other side fine.
They were supportive of
They
you?
were supportive of me through and through, but obviously we had our moments.
Yeah.
Because they were also like, what the fuck is going on here? Like,
Yeah.
we don't understand this.
They were also unprepared for what that meant.
So
When did you identify as being gay, even though...
I thought, so it was so weird. So like I've never thought I was gay. Just because more so my transition and my journey and who I am was always trying to be the real me.
Which was a girl.
Which was a girl. It was always about being a woman, and feeling comfortable in who I am. And like I said, there was no gays in high school. I was the only quote unquote gay, but I'm not. Because there's a difference. Sexuality and gender are two different on the total different sides of the spectrum. So for me, it was kind of hard to figure out what the right terminology and what I was going through.
I imagine that there is at least one person listening who identifies with how you feel and maybe hasn't taken steps to have those conversations. How old were you when you first realised that being trans was a thing?
I was 16. So I was going to a co-ed school, went to a different school, which was an all-gendered school. I'm not going to say the gender. No, but then I was introduced to people like me. So other trans women at the school, which I never seen in my entire life, which is crazy to me because I was like, oh my God, like literally my sisters, like I can fully like relate to everything and anything that they do. And then from then onwards, it was kind of like a journey of educating myself and figuring out what this is and who I am as an individual. I was Googling away, trying to figure it out. There was no like really, back in New Zealand, like in that era too, there was no medical support or no knowledge in and around like hormone therapy or what this was. I'm pretty sure it was classified as like a mental illness back then.
Yeah, back then it was
like
under
classified
a
as like
psychiatry.
it was like a mental illness or something. But it was like, no, I don't.
Just mentally ill.
Just mentally
ill. Sorry, everyone.
I have other mental disorders, but
So lucky I fit in with everyone else, all of the other girlies.
Literally. And like honestly, back then too, the girls like that I went to school with who were also trans and transitioning in the same phase as us, there was no hormones, right? So what they were on was they were taking their sister's pregnancy pills because it has estrogen in it. So it would grow your boobs. But it wasn't the right way to take it, obviously, because it's fighting with testosterone. Like you can have only one or the other. So that's how the girls used to like get away with like inducing estrogen into their system before the healthcare system flipped and then started giving us hormone therapy, which was like, I think it was like 3 years after that, after we finished high school. Yeah. Because I was at university.
And that's not an easy journey either. Like that is probably one of the most turbulent journeys that you can go on, the hormone therapy.
Hormone therapy is crazy. When the doctor said to me, it's going to feel like you're going through a second puberty. You're going to be very moody and emotional and you're going to just be like, it's just like a roller coaster. I did not believe him. And then the first 2 months into it, I was like, breasts are sore because they're growing. I'm like, what the fuck is this lump behind my chest? I dropped a pen on the floor, would start crying for no reason. And I don't cry.
So we've tracked it through to 16, you kind of had this realization. You started your transition at uni. You are dating someone now who you were friends with pre-transition. Yeah. Is that correct?
So how it worked was, this is a crazy story. So in high school, right, I was 16, was like fully walking around, like living my truth. But at the same time, I was having like family problems around like my transition, like extended family and stuff was saying shit to try and influence my parents, try and stop me from like transitioning basically. So after high school, just to keep tell everyone to shut the fuck up, I had like a Britney moment and I shaved all my hair off. And I was like, you want me to be a boy? I'll be a boy. And then I shaved my hair off. And then I was like, here we go. But I'm still acting like a queen. So I don't think it's going to work
Can't
like
hold
this.
this girl down, can you?
Yeah, it's giving Amber Rose. So I don't know. What do you think this is going to do? So then that was that was like first years of uni, and then I started making Kris Fox videos. I had shaved sides, like everything, but I was still me. It was just I didn't look like the me that I was supposed to look like. So I kind of backtracked in a way, only to like please my family, which do not do that. Please do not do that.
But also don't beat yourself up if you do.
Also, 100%.
It's also like, it sounds like that period can be for some a lot easier than others. For some, it can also be a really dangerous period or a really isolating period as well. And, you know, to be clear, we support anyone who is going through this journey, but it's also like, you can't create a safe space for every single person. And I think we just need to acknowledge the fact that whilst we can joke about your journey, we know that it was tough.
100%. I feel like my trauma response to my journey is comedic relief.
Yes, well, I'm a therapist. I'm picking up on it. And I'm bringing you down to the reality.
Shanti and I also use humour to cover our trauma, so you're in the right place. But I think it's very clear that this was like a difficult time in your life. I'm really interested to know, like, your current partner, what was the decision like to go? Who asked who out?
Oh, so
what was that decision? And was it
funny.
Weird to...
Yeah, so before, like you said, we were friends prior before we started dating, and then I like started transitioning properly through those years of friendship. And then like he asked me if we wanted to hang out, but I thought it was just like hanging out normally. And then we just went for like ice cream. Like, it was so weird. We went to get like KFC and ice cream.
Cute.
By the viaduct.
What a great
Walked
date.
around.
Yeah.
I know, like
He was
KFC and
doing
ice
that.
cream, not that for me. And it just started from there. It kind of grew into what it is today. It didn't happen overnight.
When were you like, hang on, this is a date?
Oh, like by the third time.
The date?
The third date. Because I thought we were just hanging out. Like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, okay, cool.
You
let's
can
go
pay
get
for
some
my ice
food.
cream.
Yeah, man, I
You can
was a
pay for my Zinger burger.
Literally, I was a free fried chicken girl. Of course I'm going to come hang out with you.
You're the best of friends.
I thought you were going to say by like the third drink or something.
No,
third date.
darling.
Pepsi.
Well, because it's all because I've never had that experience of like a friend turning into
Yeah. So it is kind of
a
hard
partner.
to.
So
How
I
old
was
were you at this stage?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had met him when I was 21.
Had completed your transition.
I was I was
Halfway.
midway through, girl. I was tracking along.
Yeah.
He's like seen me, like the real me. Like he sees every part of me, and he's known me since back in the day. So it's kind of like when we started like dating, it was really assuring to me that he wasn't judgmental. Like he didn't give a fuck about what I looked like previously or all that stuff. Because to me, it's kind of like you have to love me and all the versions of me for me to actually make a decision on whether or not I want to date you. That's like my number one rule.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Bumble. We know making the first move on dating apps can be a little bit daunting.
Luckily, Bumble's opening moves feature makes it super easy to get the conversation going straight away.
Shanti, what's your opening move? I already know it's going to be a little bit flirty.
Well, mine is tell me something that you're passionate about. What about you?
Oh, mine is what's your favourite thing you've learnt from TikTok?
I love it. So on Bumble, you can either write your own opening move or choose from one of the many suggestions and then sit back and wait for your matches to come to you.
This is your sign to download the app and date on your terms. Find Bumble in the App Store or on Google Play.
I think that's another thing, like Shanti said earlier, it can be really isolating and you can lose community and you can lose family, but you also hear a lot of stories about families coming back around eventually and the new community and the new experiences that you gain. So it sounds like that's been your experience as well.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And like shit changes like all the time, right? And it does take time for people to kind of learn and accept anything new, I guess. But also, if you have been cut off by your family, that's not the end of the world because you've got your sisters, your friends, like other people that you can kind of be with that turns into family over time.
Yeah, we were discussing this the other day, the fact that your friendships will get you through the hardest times in your life. And it sounds like you created a few really, really good connections during this time, including your partner. For those who have recently transitioned and who are not on the dating scene, but they're kind of looking into it and they're looking at how do I start dating, do you have any tips for them around like when to disclose or like what the first kind of date conversations go like or how to be forthcoming or not be forthcoming?
Yeah. I mean, speaking from my personal experience in terms of like the dating scene, I would always disclose right away just to like kind of like, okay, I can't be fucked, like dragging shit along and then being like, oh, I'm T.
Here is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like straight from the get-go, that's me. I always just like, yep, this is me. You like it, you don't, piss off. And then, so I would always say safety-wise too, like just disclose if you're comfortable with disclosing and then also be very cautious when you're going out to meet people because
Safety is huge.
100% safety. You can't just go in willy-nilly just thinking like everyone is a good person because there are people out there that aren't a good person and that are out to get you because they probably just, you know, don't like you because of who you are or whatever.
Bumble is obviously known for being like women first. You have the option to put trans woman, trans man, man, woman on your profile. And I respect the people that are like, I'm a woman, I'm going to label myself as a woman, and the other people that are like, I'm a trans woman and that's how I want to identify. And I think you make some really good points about like if you're using a dating app, that's the easiest way to not have to initiate the conversation as well. All of the regular safety advice applies, tell someone where you're going, meet in a public place. But I think also like with the trans community, there's like that extra layer of like, be careful. And I think one of the pieces of advice that like I would give if you are someone looking to do that is not every date has to be one-on-one. Like you can absolutely invite someone to come and meet your friends, and your friends always
They'll clock it right away.
Yeah. Right?
I feel like that's the best situation.
Yeah.
Like if you want to meet someone for the first time, throw them into like a social
them around the
situation.
girls.
Bring them around the girls. The girls will sit there and be like, that's not the one, girl.
And you know what? If they can't handle that, they probably can't handle dating
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you can't meet me in a public social setting, then are you ashamed to like even be seen with me? So what's the point in me hanging out with you in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this brings me to a question that I wanted to ask. When you have people, when I say people, I'm talking about heterosexual men that are seeking out trans women to date, where do you draw the line between, great, this is an open-minded, person versus this person might be fetishizing me?
Oh, like a chaser.
A
We
chaser,
call
is
them-
Is that what it's called? A chaser?
Okay, can you explain a chaser?
Okay.
True bueni chaser.
Take the floor and explain this whole thing to us, please.
Give us the tea.
So a chaser is someone that just like fetishizes trans women. And they're just like, the easiest way I can say to clock a chaser is to check their following list on Instagram. And if they're following all the dolls, 100% a chaser. But also like in the dog community within your like town or whatever.
They'll be known.
No, right away, girl. You just have to screenshot the account and be like, girls, and you know
Who's
this
been
man?
here?
They're like, oh, sis, he's been around the block.
Shut
Do not go there.
Shut up! Oh my god!
Oh my God.
That is crazy. But what about okay, give me an example though. What if you're dating like internationally? What if you're like vacationing?
Oh, like how to clock a chaser vacationing.
Yeah, like when you're
I feel like there are
out.
certain like traits about a chaser that you can like clock when you hang out with them.
It's just a glint
It's
in
just
their eye.
the glint.
You can just smell it on them.
Just like things like
the leaning in.
it's the questions. Oh, have you had surgery? Oh, have you got this? Have you
wow.
got, I'm
You're
why
like,
you
you
ask
know-
all these damn questions?
You're like, you know too much for a straight man.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I'm like, oh.
Versus someone that's a little bit curious, doesn't know all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They're
It's
not
kind of
shy about it.
Yeah, they're not. They have the whole like information clocked down, and then they ask you all these questions, and you're like, oh no. No. You, these the door girl.
But with a chaser, is it an actual no?
For me, it's a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a no. I don't want community cock, girl.
Yeah.
I
Fair.
want a big dick that's been around the block. And then you're going to end up tunnel sisters with your friends.
Oh,
So, girl.
Yeah, fair.
God,
That is
absolutely
totally
love
fair.
that. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I do have a
Interesting.
question though for those who are, if we take chasers out of the question, if we are talking about the regular
Yeah,
kind of person,
average guy.
yeah, who has met someone who is trans and wants to date them, but is a little bit like unsure how to navigate like conversations or be polite or like also like just be a good partner. Do you have any advice?
Is this like during a relationship or pre-relationship? Like while
Dating
they're dating?
time, yeah.
Oh, gosh. My advice would be, honestly, just treat the girls with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Don't treat them like there's something different or out of the box, because that right away is just kind of like reminding you that you're different all the time. And I don't want to be reminded that I'm different aside like from everyone else. I'm just a normal human being. My advice would be, honestly, just to be real, authentic, truthful to whoever you're dating. Same thing with any kind of like dating like situation, right? And just don't make the person feel like they're less or they're just kind of weird.
They should everyone should be made to, I don't know, I think we should all be treated like we are more than, and we should be lifted up and elevated through our dating experiences.
Yeah.
Not made to be feel like it's like a favor or like a weird,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a weird, like there's a lot of savior complexes out
the
there.
savior complex pisses me off. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And a lot of like, you're lucky to have me because
Yes.
your dating pool is so small.
That,
Yeah.
oh my God. It's like, oh, I'm taking a chance with you, so you should feel honored. I'm like, Oh, you should fucking feel honored, bitch. The fuck? Look at me and look at you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like, please.
so, yeah, that's really...
I want to pivot.
Yeah.
How do you, if you're going out on date night, what's your rituals? How do you get ready? Like, what's the glam routine?
So prep for a date night with my mains, I would say starts the night before with a good skincare routine, a cute little cup of tea, and then I have to kind of like mentally prepare myself because I feel like I honestly hate going out. I feel like COVID made me a fucking hermit. It takes I have to kind of like mentally prepare myself to go out and like do stuff. So I'd need like a full like night before to like settle, be zen, and then let's go. And then the next morning wake up and then I'd start glam, which takes 5 hours. And yeah, that's really my routine. As long as I look pretty and I feel fucking hot, then let's go on a date.
Look good, feeling good, smelling good.
You have just like this sparkle about you that is much more than just the highlighter and the lip gloss.
Your energy is good.
How do we get some of this confidence? Especially for people that are out there that are dating.
Being confident, like to me, I would say is living in your truth authentically and not concentrating on the negative. I feel like what drives me and makes me confident is just I've always been a delusional, confident bitch.
Okay,
like,
so
it's Delulu, I swear to God.
becomes Tralulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I walk around, look in the mirror, I'm like,
Fake it till you
I'm
make
that
it.
bitch. I'm so hot. Like, nobody can tell me shit.
That's not Delulu. That is the truth, though.
I feel like it's just so, being around positive spaces for me is like key. One thing I hate is the negative space, girl. And I can feel, like, if I walk in, I'm like, oh, not for me.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna catch me here, girl, for 2 seconds. The fuck?
Absolutely.
Because then it just kind of makes you feel kind of shit. And obviously, I'm not confident all the time. I do have my days where I like feel like shit. But to like pick me up from that, you know, I'd go for a run or go to the gym or do something like different to like kind of distract my mind away from like feeling shit about myself.
Yeah, I mean, like negativity feeds negativity. From like a psychological point of view, a lot of the time, if we're feeling negative and we're talking in a negative way, our body actually doesn't know where the negativity is directed. So if we're feeling shitty about someone in our life and we're talking shit about them, our body starts feeling shit about ourselves. Like, yeah. So I think what you suggested in terms of getting out of that environment, getting out of that headspace, clearing the air a little bit is a really, really important thing to do.
So you talk a lot about authenticity. I think my favorite quote from you was that you set out to shock the boomers. Which I feel like you don't need to try that. I think you've done it.
I think I've definitely done it.
I don't know if many of them listen to our podcast, but if they do, consider them shocked from minute one. But I feel like you look and sound like you were born to be on reality TV.
I feel like
Agree,
I agree.
Disagree. What's the journey with your career been like?
I was on, actually funny, because like two years ago, I was on a show called The Hustle back home. I was called The Hustle NZ. And it was like it was a docuseries, but seen through the lens of like a reality TV show. And it followed like 6 individuals in their journey of like entrepreneurship, like content creation, yada, yada, yada. That was my first taste of like being followed by cameras 24/7, which is...
And did you love it?
I fucking loved it.
We can hear it in your voice.
Oh my gosh. It was like, I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh my God.
I'm ready for my clothes.
I'm giving Kim K. Like, it was such a fun experience. And I fucking wish, like, my next goal is to get on, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it. If anyone's listening, want to put me on a show.
Time to go to LA, baby.
If you want a bitch that is very, like, real and raw and will stay and do anything, you got me right here.
Yeah.
Because because as soon as the cameras, when we were filming that show, as soon as the cameras were on me, like, you can just see the flick switch on in my eye and it's just giving drama.
Yeah. You're like, I'll be the villain.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever.
I literally told them,
you need a villain, you've got one.
Yeah. But then they didn't even turn me into the villain. They made me like the matriarch of the show. And
I mean, that is a very important role.
Queen shit.
You know?
So that was
they put you in charge. What are you most proud of yourself for out of all of these things?
I think it's finally being in a place in my life where I'm happy. If you were to tell 10-year-old me that I was going to live this life and be this happy, I would have told you, bitch, you're lying. Like, what the fuck? But to come out of that, living this life, it's just crazy.
Without making you like a spokesperson for your whole community, what do you wish was different? I mean, I know that for the trans community, there's a million things that you would change. Not what would you change because, where to begin, but
what's on the wish list?
What's on your wish list and what do you wish people understood when you hear all of the in my opinion, idiotic discourse about what's happening to trans people and how that should be dealt with in the healthcare system or in sport, or take your pick of where there's unhelpful conversations happening. Do you wish people understood about the experience of a trans person?
That's a really hard question, girl. I'm trying to be serious. So I think what I would wish for my community, I wish that people would stop thinking that they know what's good for us and that they have this lived experience when they literally don't.
Yeah.
That's my biggest wish, is just have an open mind and stop telling us how to live our lives.
Yeah.
I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah. Well, let's end on a high. How would you like to close out the episode? What's your words of wisdom, main piece of advice? What's your personal mantra? Give us a Kris Fox quote.
Oh, you want a Kris Fox quote? Oh my gosh. For anyone that's listening, do not give a fuck about what other people think of you 100%. The worst thing you can do is take in unsolicited advice from irrelevant people that are basic. Live as authentically as possible and just be the baddest biological bitch you can be.
Just live and slay.
Love it.
Thank you so much, babe.
you.
We appreciate you. We love
Thank you girls so much. I had so much fun.
Not as much fun as we had. Okay, Shanti.
Hey.
DM time.
I know. I love
love it.
DM time because I just
Same.
love hearing what our listeners want to get advice on.
I know. Well, today's is from Lucy.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Hi, I just want to know, do we think it's fair to judge someone if they've got super cringy Instagram posts, even if they're a little bit older? I'm not too sure, but for me, it's just a bit cringe.
Well, look, I've been thinking about this one a lot actually because I think it really depends on the age range.
When you say older, do you mean
How old?
How old do you reckon she means?
I
She
don't
sounded
know.
quite young.
I don't know why I paused for a second to be like, Lucy, tell us, but Lucy's not here.
Lucy's not here. I reckon they're talking about Gen Z versus millennial kind of Instagram, and as someone that's firmly in the millennial category, I do use the Paris filter on all my photos and I can't stop.
No, okay. Well, I was thinking even older, but I know we're talking about our age range, but I'm thinking older as well. I think anyone in their 30s, you can judge them.
Yeah.
Judge them. Go
They
for
know
it.
better.
They know better.
Yeah.
Go for it. 40s, you have to give them a little bit of grace probably because they're back in the sepia days. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've kind of been thinking about our friends who are in their 40s and dating, and I know a lot of my friends, they don't have the skills.
No.
They don't know what they're doing. And bless them, they're all amazing. However, would love to give their socials a little bit of a makeover.
I think if the question is should you judge someone based on cringy social content, I think it really comes down to red flag cringy, or if they're just a bit hopeless, no, you shouldn't judge.
Or you can, but
Or
just judge
what
slightly.
you want,
just
really.
judge slightly.
Judge if you feel like judging.
Even if we talk about our
it's
own
judge-worthy.
socials, if you scroll pretty far back, you're like, ooh, that's a bit weird that I did that.
I think I've archived a lot of mine.
Yeah, I probably need to.
Yeah.
Depending on how much lip filler I've got in or not.
I do think your Instagram says a lot about who you are as a person. So take what you will from that when you're assessing a dating candidate. But also,
Just get to know
do you know
them
what
in
I do
person.
say, actually? I think that most men, if we're talking about heterosexual men, most men are 20 to 30% hotter than they appear on their dating app profile or on their social media because they don't really know how to take great photos. Yeah. And if they do know how to take great photos, that can be a red flag itself.
Sometimes you just don't know what to do with your socials. And I think it's always better, like with dating apps, to get off the app and get in real life and just get to know that person. And then what you can do later down the line, if you like them, is just go in and archive all their photos for them.
I do find it quite funny when you see on a guy's Instagram dating app profile, the classic girlfriend photo, which is them sitting in a bar or in a restaurant with like a drink in front of them,
Like,
and the photo is
welcome.
clearly taken like by a girlfriend, because men don't take photos like that of each other.
Yeah.
So it is quite a good indicator that someone's like had a long-term relationship, or at least like had some successful relationship, because if they've got a photo like that, they've had a girlfriend at some point recently.
Yeah, or just has like a good
That
friend.
has a really good friend.
Great question though.
Yeah.
Slay. Thanks, Lucy.
Lucy and everyone else, if you enjoyed this episode, you can give us a follow at Bumble_Australia.
And if you
Tell us what you
loved
think.
Kris, follow Kris at It's Kris with a K Fox on Instagram.
Don't forget to tap the bell, follow us, leave a review,
Share
give us
with
a
a friend.
rating.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of the above.
we love you.
See you next week.